Hello everyone, welcome to GoTarryn TV. This is Dr. T, PhD, the prodigy of sports psychology. And I'm so excited because today we have Kristy Wegert of My Workout Buddy about to join us right here on today's show. Before she arrives, I'd like to remind everyone out there, please be so kind as to like this video, leave us a comment, and share it with all of your friends and family out there. And as you see, Kristy always comes on here to deliver some excellent information on working out tips, losing weight, staying fit, and just being the healthy that you can possibly be. That is her specialty, so I can't wait to bring her on here and we'll have some fun for the next half hour. And she'll be telling us how to get in better shape, especially with the new year here in 2023. So don't go away, we'll be right back with Kristy Wegert of My Workout Buddy. And remember, with GoTarryn Health Fitness, it's your time, it's your investment, it's your life. We'll see you in a second. So how's your 2023 going so far?
10 days in, I can't say that I'm complaining much. Last year was a really great year for me, so see if this one happen. I'm about to turn 50 in 18 days, so.
Oh, no kidding! Congratulations! Wow,
Thanks.
That's a big milestone.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. This one plan is coming up. Trying to turn you. There you go.
Yeah, and 50, that's a good number, and like you and I always talk about being healthy and fit, and all the more reason to, because I'll bet you I know the answer to this, but don't you feel that you're in the best shape that you are now that you're about to be 50 than you were, say, any time before 40, 30, and so forth, as far as overall health and wellness?
I would say that, yeah, this is probably my best self at the moment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's so cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it. I could say that I might have been just a tiny bit more fit when I got off the Appalachian Trail a couple of years back, but I don't run around with 50 pounds on my back for long weekends anymore. I haven't done in a while, but otherwise, top of the game.
So that's great, Kristy. What are some of the plans for your birthday? Are you going to celebrate and go crazy and go nuts, or what are some of the plans that you're going to be doing here next couple of days?
Sometimes I feel like the lead up to the birthday is the bigger deal. Like especially as I approach a decade or a big milestone birthday, I'm always like, what can I do? What can I do that'll be fun, that's indicative of my 40s, that I can walk away from now? So there might be some wild stuff, and then there might be some more, get to the top of that mountain over there I see across the city, or the day of might be more important to me to do something big and cool that is physical.
That's cool. No, that'd be fun. That's great. Now, when you reflect back to last year, we know that you had a lot of changes and excitement going on. What are some of the memories and highlights that you could think of in the last year of 2022 that you reflect upon since, moving there and everything that you've been doing with your life?
The big highlights of last year. I started training a teenage boy. Like, I know that sounds strange, but
no, it's cool.
Like a thing for me, because I for the longest time wasn't going to do anybody that young, and then he's a boy, so I don't relate very well. Like, I don't have a boy, and I'm not a boy, so working with him has been very rewarding, and it's actually opened my world up quite a bit and shown me some things that I didn't know about myself, about being a trainer, about being a person. And I got to experience life from somebody else's eyes for a change. And
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's changed my perspective quite dramatically, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. How so would you say? Like, what are some of the kind of changes that you see from his perspective, so to speak?
From his perspective, um, like he went from being somebody who's really never been physical at all, period, and was in quite the depression.
Mm.
And after a little over a year of training, he has become this strong, confident personality that, teenage years are kind of funky anyway. We're changing and we're going from being a child to, transitioning to adulthood. So
Yeah.
I have a
Cool.
feeling it's going to be in flux for quite some time, but his trajectory has been up and up, and he just keeps getting stronger and more
Hmm.
confident. And it seems like every few months I start noticing different things about him. It's just fascinating that way. And I don't think he sees it, but I see it. His parents.
Hmm. That's cool. How did that relationship come about? Did they come to you and want you to start training him?
Yeah, I have an ad in the local newsletter on the west side of Las Vegas. It's called Summerlin.
Oh,
It's
cool. Okay.
and I advertise in that monthly, and that's where I get my local clientele from.
Oh,
And
that's so neat.
but yeah, that's how they approached me, and I almost didn't work with them. I almost walked away from it.
Mm, mm.
Watched
Wow.
them. I gave them a chance, and I was like, listen, I really don't feel comfortable. The kid hadn't even turned 15 yet when we met. We
Okay.
didn't start
Okay.
training until he was exactly 15, like the day before he turned 15.
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, you know, it's a strange coincidence that mom kind of talked me into it.
Hmm. Hmm.
It wasn't going to happen. I was walking in there with all the doubt.
Wow. Well, you never know. It works out. It sounds like it's a great relationship. And if that's one of the first things that comes to your mind as a highlight for last year, then I would say it was meant to be, and it worked out for both of y'all.
Yeah, that worked out really well. And then,
Hmm.
on a personal level, I went to Berlin and Prague.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right. Yeah, that was amazing. I'm sure. I've never been, but I'm sure that must have just been beautiful.
It was, and I've been busting at the seams wanting to go overseas again for quite some time since the
Hmm.
pandemic. And it was such a treat to see that part of Germany and to see
Oh,
Prague for the first time. And yeah, I really appreciated that trip, and it was yet another eye-opening experience for me. That I always love the educational touring type trips quite a bit because normally everything I do is physical. Like I'm going to go on a hiking adventure, but
hmm,
um, you're in the museums, you're standing in the middle of history. It was amazing.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. And did you? I'm assuming you went through some castles too, probably while you were there.
Yeah, more in Prague.
Hmm.
Berlin was more of a World War II and Cold War type history experience.
Hmm.
But Prague is all the medieval stuff from 13, 14, 1500s and beyond.
Yeah.
That was incredible and really pretty. But I think I liked Berlin better.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. Just from, I guess, the learning and artistic kind of point of view, maybe. Yeah.
yeah, the
That's
history
great.
is real. Like there's a place near the university in Berlin called the Babel Plot,
Uh-huh.
and it's square, right? It doesn't look like much, but there's a beam of light, a square, with it's like light coming out of the ground. And what
Huh.
happened at Plots during World War II is that's where the Nazis burned the book. And
Oh,
so
wow.
it is this case of books with light coming out of it and light coming out of the ground where the fires actually were. And and it was a very deep and moving experience to stand in that place. I
Hmm.
mean, lots of atrocities happen, but they say that eternal light coming up out of the ground represents the idea that you can burn these people's books and you can hurt these people, but their ideas will never die.
That's very powerful. Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, so much history there. That's really, really fascinating. Yeah, I'm so happy that you were able to do that. Are there plans to go abroad and visit some more, maybe this year, next year, anytime soon in the future?
Quite. Yeah. We're
Yeah.
going Mexico. We're going to go to
Nice.
Cabo, Mazatlan, and Puerto Vallarta in March. And then
Very nice.
we're talking about going to Rio de Janeiro.
Awesome. Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you've never been to any of these places before.
Yeah.
That'll be a first. That's great. Wow.
South
Yeah,
America.
thank goodness we could do that now, that we're past kind of COVID and these restrictions and flying on a plane with a mask on too. Oh gosh, I can imagine that too. I mean, it's got to be such a drag.
It is. I did.
Yeah.
They said you didn't have to, so I didn't.
Yeah.
Had it on hand just in case somebody nearby was coughing. But
Oh yeah.
everybody was like acting normal, so I left it off. And I have flown long distances with it on, and that does suck.
Oh gosh, yeah. I haven't. And I just can't imagine that. Oh wow. Yeah. Well, thank goodness. And how about work-wise right now? Your clientele load, Kristy. How are you doing in terms of pretty full? I'm assuming just actively training pretty much every week, all week long.
Not all week long, no. And I'm really limiting. I have some good boundaries. I actually have 4 spots available, but my boundary is AM to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. I don't work
Good for
weekends,
you.
evenings. I don't do early mornings.
Good for you.
Yeah, and I really kind of maintain that very strongly, that boundary, because I still want to have my life.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so important. It's the whole work-life balance and having fun and enjoying life and being able, as you know, to get your own workouts in. So how has that been? Have you been doing some hikes? Have you had time for that as well too, that you'd like to do?
At least once a week. So
Mhm.
I get on a spin bike anywhere from 3 to 5 days a week. I'll lift weights
Nice.
4 to 6 days a week, and then I hike.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, I'm active to the point of insane, but it's my job. I'm working on my pull-ups again, so
Yeah, that's great.
have
That's
to
great.
really be diligent with that, or you'll lose the strength to be able to.
And your gym setup is just phenomenal too. I've said before how great it is that you've pretty much got everything you need. Is there any equipment that you don't have that you'd like to get soon? Or I mean, it looks like you pretty much have everything since I've known you.
I actually got rid of quite a bit when I moved, but what I did just right before the year turned 2023, 2 things. One is not really equipment; it's just for my medicine balls. I have something to hold them now.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
I got it,
Neat.
and then Titan also had that, the pulley.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's great.
I
Yeah.
was excited to get one of those because before I was using resistance bands and whatever I could tie it to, and now I actually can put my plates from my universal bar onto the pulley stack and do
Oh, right. Yeah.
touchdowns, rowing, overhead strides with my ropes. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about having a little bit more of a beefed up situation. It wasn't even $300. I was really blown away by that.
Oh, that's tremendous. Yeah, that looks good. It's an awesome setup. That is tremendous. Yeah, and I assume the weather out there obviously is pretty solid, pretty consistent, right? I mean that you can get like you said earlier, the hikes and everything outside, and not too cold out there. I assume during the winter time.
I mean, right now at night it's in the 30s.
Okay, that's pretty chilly. Yeah.
And during the day right now it's in the 50s, and we're
Yeah, that's not bad.
heat snap at the moment.
Okay. Yeah.
Today the winds will be 50 miles an hour.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, and that's not a spring thing. It does come up a couple times a week, like 70-mile-an-hour gusts are common in the spring. But they're being warned off right now. Don't go to Lake Mead and get on your boat because it makes boating very dangerous.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, there's we don't have a lot of natural disasters here, but the winds are crazy.
Wow. Yeah. I may be coming out that way in June. I've got a buddy who they're celebrating their 20th wedding anniversary, June 7th actually to be precise. So I think that weekend they've invited me to come out there to check it out. I can't remember exactly what part, but I think they just said somewhere because they live actually in Alaska of all places, but they want everyone to meet up somewhere in Las Vegas and kind of just party it up that weekend. So that'll be cool. That'll be neat.
Oh, I might have a chance to visit with you.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll keep you posted in case you're around that weekend. I'm assuming it's probably going to be at one of these, hotels, and maybe they'll get like some kind of setup with, just being able to do some. Who knows, like what it's going to look like? But that'll be fun, though. That's a great place to visit. So it's been a while since I've been out that way, but that'll be cool. That'll be really neat.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you stay on the Strip, you're going to get one kind of experience. If you stay at Fremont, a little bit different.
Oh, okay.
Depending on what you're after, but if you want that classic old school Vegas, Fremont's a lot of fun.
Oh, okay. No, that's good to know. Yeah, because again, I don't know much about it, but yeah, no, that's helpful. As we get closer to that date, I'll have to probably ask you and get your ideas and maybe put you in touch with them so you can help with the itinerary for us.
Yeah, that and you don't want to be hiking in the valley that time of year. You want to drive up to Mount Charleston. So if you plan on doing it, you can't do it around the city at all.
Oh, okay.
That's before the sun comes up.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. How about, have y'all any plans to come back and visit Atlanta, Georgia this year at all?
We were already there in October, and
right.
It's such a crazy whirlwind tour visiting friends and family.
Yeah.
One day, I think I talked to like 28 people.
Oh, wow. Gosh. Oh, my goodness.
This is a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's going to be a while before we come back.
Yeah. The flights to get here from Vegas, they're not too bad, I guess, right? I mean, I'm assuming that they're pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I think it's like 3 something.
Oh, yeah. That's not bad at all. Yeah, that's great.
Even if you took Delta, you'd get a direct flight. How are you doing?
Oh, good. Yeah, like everything. Well, we're good. My business is strong, like in the terms of the first week or so of the new year. I'm sure you're probably the same. I'm getting a lot of calls from people I haven't seen in a long time. Those New Year's resolution people. I literally have had probably half a dozen people contact me looking for what my schedule looks like that I haven't heard from like since mid last year, let's say. And so that happens a lot, at least to me. But do you get that too, where you get voice of Christmas past that kind of contact you, the ghosts we like to call them, that reach back out that you haven't heard from in a while?
It's kind of weird. I have really good client retention. So a few of them that have dropped off have contacted me and come back. One of them actually died last year of pancreatic cancer.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, wow.
Yeah, everybody kind of stays in touch with me. I had one lady who called up and just wanted to continue to tell me what was going on with her health, but we haven't actually started working out again.
Oh, okay.
And you'll hear these reports from people. Oh, I've lost 10 pounds. Oh, I've gotten into this program. I'm doing kickboxing. And they just want me to know what's happening, but I never get a New Year's resolution rush like some people do. And up to now, I think I only had that one lady who passed away last year, and she came back later. Oh no, my very, very first client did it once, and that guy lost 300 pounds.
Oh wow, gosh. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
A while, and when he came back to me, he had lost a ton of weight, and we reconnected a couple times when I wrote some workouts for him. But yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because on top of some of these people coming back, I had probably one of the most interesting calls that I've probably had in a while. You'll appreciate this as a fellow personal trainer, because I wanted to see what your opinion on this was and how you might handle this. So I have someone that I probably haven't trained, and I would guess, I don't know, maybe conservatively, my guess is, let's say 4 or 5 years. I know it was definitely before the pandemic. So at most, I haven't seen this person in over 3 years. And he called me out of the blue, and I said, hey, that's great. Yeah, let's get back on it. And he said, the last time that we trained together, I want to say I prepaid about 16 sessions that you owe me for. And I was like thinking about it. I was driving, and I was like, are you sure about that? And he said, oh, yeah, I'm sure. You owe me 16 sessions. and I'd like to go ahead and redeem those as soon as possible, and let's get those going. And so I said to him, I hope he's not watching, by the way, but I just kind of said, you got me at a disadvantage because I'm not at my office. I'm in my car. I keep everything in my files at my office where, I have a tracking system. And I said, let me get to my office and let me just validate if there are any sessions, what you're saying. And he said, oh, no, there sure are. There's 16. And plus, you trained my dad and he's got some he wants to transfer my way. And I thought about it and I was like, that just doesn't sound right. And so, because I always like to settle with people, if for any reason they haven't used their sessions, then I'd like to, at the very least, if they didn't want to train, just say, well, let's go ahead and settle up. Do you want, your money back or what have you? But anyway, even if it was the fact, I just forgot about it. But I went back to my office in my tracking sheets. And oddly enough, when I looked at the tracking sheets of when they paid me, their sessions were redeemed in full. In other words, I didn't see any lingering non-serviced sessions. You know what I mean? I looked and I double checked it in my accounting purposes. I went on my revenue and income, which I still had back, several years ago. And I looked and I said, okay, that matches up with what we've trained. I don't see what he's talking about with overpaying me like 16 sessions. And then I went on his dad's chart and same thing. I saw that when I trained his dad, which was even longer than that, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. And I looked, I was like, there's no lingering leftover sessions that they prepaid me for. So I don't know what he's talking about, but has that ever happened to you? I'm just curious because that's the first time that's ever happened to me.
Not in this business. I've had someone else do something similar when I owned a different business. When I owned
Interesting.
Someone discarded a necklace with one of my tags on it, swearing that she bought it at my store. So I went to the store in the back room with the same tag, and I pulled it out. And this is the necklace that tag goes to. If I had a duplicate, and I said, I've never purchased that necklace before. I swear I bought this here. I'm like, no, you didn't. You took my tag and put it on that necklace. So.
Wow.
You have every right to show him your paperwork. You've got information to back it up. 16 sessions is no small chunk of change, and you would really be accounting for that. You have every right to be honest with him and just tell him, dude, I'm laying it on the line. I don't see what you're talking about. Here's the proof.
Yeah, it's so weird.
I would do that.
Yeah, that's a good idea because, let's face it, us as personal trainers, we go through a lot of funny stories. You have your typical, every trainer has clients who will either no call, no show or disappear and vanish. I mean, it happens, we're used to that. But on top of that, I'm kind of, one of my New Year's resolutions, I guess you could say, is I'm tightening up my business model because I was probably the most lenient, walk all over me trainer when it comes to, oh, you can't make it. Okay, no problem. And please don't charge me for this session. And I've always been very passive about that. I'm like, but now, having said that, this calendar system that we use when you book this video Skype with me, it's called Calendly. That's the name of the program. It's really ingenious. What it does, and I've started using this function, is when I have my clients book their sessions with me, and you might already do this, I don't know, but I have them prepay now to book the session. In other words, I've eliminated package of sessions. I used to just train 10, 15 sessions in a row, just pay me in full. Now what I've done is I've asked my clients, I'm doing away with that. We're not going to have a check-in system anymore. It's going to be very simple and straightforward. If you want to train with me, just book your session online, and you do have to prepay to reserve that slot. It's similar to what, spas and nail salon places do just to protect themselves, right? And so on there, when they book it, they have to prepay. If they don't show up or no call, the money's already collected. And I had never thought that way. Now, again, there's might be other trainers who are watching this probably like, I can't believe he's been doing it, the way he's been doing it for so long. Because a lot of things I do are probably pretty, old, outdated or what have you. But how do you handle that, Kristy? What's your thoughts on when a client, don't charge me, I had an emergency come up, blah, blah, blah. And because again, we go through that, but what does your booking system look like? Because you might already have that way where they prepay you.
Oh, yeah. But mine got set up a bit differently. Instead of using a scheduler or an app, I do everything manually.
Okay.
People will buy a package of 10 from me. So let's say you buy a package of 10. I charge $85 for a session.
Yeah.
And $765 for a package of 10. So basically, you're buying one and getting you're buying 9 and getting 1 for free.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's an advantage to the package of 10 to that. There's a mulligan built in that within a 24-hour period, if you have to reschedule or cancel, you get to use a mulligan to the package of No questions asked. I don't know. It doesn't matter what the story is. It doesn't matter why you have to reschedule. None of that. Just
So they get one. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
period, someone will use it. Not everybody uses them every time, and some people use them every time. But
Okay.
I don't care. So after that, they will lose the session they cancel, and it has to be within that window of 24 hours.
Yeah.
So like if the session's at 8 a.m. and they cancel at 8:30 the day before, I lose money because that session isn't booked. So,
Right. Of course. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, because I'm just curious. I think that's important to protect yourself because at the same time, someone else could have easily booked that time with you that you lost that opportunity cost on. But what I like now with this Calendly is that they have to pay ahead of time. And so no matter what, there's no questions asked. Basically, if they say, oh, don't count that as a session, I'm basically now I'm just like, well, it's already collected, and I try to work with people. But the other thing that's funny, I don't get this one, and again, you've probably heard this before with some of your clients in the past, but because I think some clients are notorious for this, but one person in particular shows up usually 20, 30 minutes late. And then when it's time towards the end of the session, my next person will literally be coming in and they'll say, oh, well, we didn't start our session till blah, blah, blah time. So just tell that next person that they need to wait about 20. And that drives me. I mean, to me, I think it's the most disrespectful thing to even bring that up as a question. And again, I hope this person's not watching too. But I'm just, again, the reason why I'm bringing this up, because I really like to get your advice, just professional to professional. How do you handle that? Or if you've had to, maybe you haven't had to deal with that.
Oh, I've been at this a while, sure. People show up late. Most of them are professionals who work by appointment, and they understand what I have to do for a living, and they go, we're going to end on time. Even though we started late, we're still ending on time. Or if I have time, I'll say, no. Today's no big deal because it's going to be a while. My next two clients are out of town for the week, and I have time for you. It's no big deal. But that's usually right after.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
There's flexibility there. Also, something you mentioned earlier, you said that you settle up with people if they want to stop working with you.
Well, kind of. This is what happened. One person had, just like your story, one person had died, and they had a series of sessions that left over. And when the person who was in charge of their estate approached me and asked me, and I told him, I said, who would I make the check out? Because he had like whatever it was, 10 sessions left. I want to pay this back to his estate. And they said, don't. They said, we appreciate that, but I'm sure that he, would want you to keep it, so don't pay it back. I was like, wow, are you sure? I mean, I asked them, I approached them. I said, I don't feel right keeping this money. And they said, no, that's don't worry. You've come to us, which was, again, I was like, okay, if that's what they're wanting. There were some times that were kind of weird. I remember one particular time when I think I told someone else this story when, and we've all had to do this as trainers, but it's one person I think of that I've had to fire as a client because, long story short, not to get into it, but it was just very unreasonable, in my opinion, on their behalf on some of the expectations. So with whatever remaining sessions were left, I insisted. I said, let me pull out my checkbook and pay you the remaining balance because this is not going, this is not going to be a good future relationship. And we had been training for years, and her mother insisted. She got angry and insulted that I would even bring that up. She said, how dare you? You can't just fire us like that. You have to fulfill these sessions. And I told her it was a very personal attack that I didn't appreciate. And I told her, I said, we're done. We're finished. I can't go on training, your daughter. I'm sorry. And I had my checkbook out, and she was just crying and upset. And she was yelling at me and saying I was being completely unreasonable. And no matter what, I said, look, I don't feel right keeping your money. I don't want to owe you. So here, let me just write you the check and just please cash this. And it was another similar situation where, again, just I didn't want to owe them, basically. I wanted to give them that money and run away because it just was not a good fit, as far as that happens. I believe that not every trainer is for every client and vice versa. I don't think every client's for every trainer. In that case, we did not have the right chemistry. That was not a good, healthy relationship. And so anyway, again, that's just another, example of, I think it's important to just have that good relationship. It goes back to what you and I talked to a few months ago about the my dissertation about relatedness. How important it is to be on the same page and work together, and we didn't have that. And part of that could have been my fault. I take at least 50% responsibility. Maybe half of it was me. I was totally not able to help them. So I'm sure you've, again, preaching to the choir, you've been through it all with that as well.
I've had to fire some very interesting individuals. Right after the package was expired, and they were about to do again, so the timing was just right. But I have a policy also, in addition to the package deal with the mulligans and all of that. They sign ahead of time about the mulligans, the 24-hour cancellation policy, and the fact that this is non-refundable and non-transferable.
Yeah.
Insert a penny in for a pound. So get into it and stick with it, because those 10 sessions are going to get used, or I'm keeping your money.
Yeah, I think that's so important, Kristy. The next time we talk, we need to do a whole video blog on that, because there's a lot of trainers who I know can relate to what you and I are talking about right now. Because I think that we don't get enough credit, like, say, the medical profession or what other, professions you could think about that are closely related to us, because it kind of, I think that in some ways personal training maybe should be licensed for reasons like that, so that we could be taken a little bit more seriously and more reputable. But anyway, again, next time we talk, let's definitely, I think we could trade off some stories for a full 30 minutes easily, like that. But I see our time's coming up. I don't want to hold you any longer. But before we get out of here, I have to ask you, let's go ahead and please plug your contact information, and including your website, social media, and every way that people can learn about My Workout Buddy.
I've screwed off social media for mental health reasons.
Good for you. I need to do that. It's a great idea.
I didn't get rid of the channel. I'm just not doing anything with that.
Sure. Get that
really want to
break.
contact me. The best thing to do is text me at 404-641-7173, because my ringer is never on. Also, you can email me at kwmyworkoutbuddy@gmail.com. And then you can look at my website, which is my-workoutbuddy.com.
Great. Well, Kristy, thank you so much as always. I really appreciate your time. Again, this 30 minutes flies by so quickly with you, as it always does. So I can't thank you enough. Let's do this next month. I wish you a happy, healthy January, rest of the new year, and happy birthday, happy 50th to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kristy, and we'll see you next time. And here comes your contact information right now.